Hey, this is Matt once again. What about 10 videos? Another paid request. This time from my good friend Mike, OCB Communications. Which, if you watch this man, wish you the best. I know he's got the disease YouTube doesn't want you to name. Starts with a C, ends with a D. Because you can suck the D, but he's going through tough times. Wish him the best, man. Wish you the best, my friend. But he wanted me to review the Flash TV pilot. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, reviews, video game stuff, re-reviews, randomness, whatever case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal, usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now the Flash TV pilot, which is featured on this, it was great to revisit this again. I grew up with this show. As a kid, we had 4 channels. One of them was CBS, so I remember watching this when it came out back in the day and just being very surprised, very entertained by it, because it was a very ambitious show for a TV show at that time, where you don't have a superhero show, which there were, the Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, back in the day, but this one you don't incorporate more powers and even some villains, super villains. Like, it's very ambitious, and obviously this was made because of the success of Batman. Batman 89 blew the doors off the business, was a big phenomenon, and when you see that big of a phenomenon that made that much money, people are looking, how can we cash in, what can we do? Oh, well, we have the Flash. Let's make that a TV show. Maybe that was in the plans before Batman, but it definitely got jump-started into actual production because of the success of Batman. I mean, the fact you even got Danny Elfman, who did the music for Batman, to do the main theme. I think Shirley Walker did the score for the show, but Danny Elfman did the main theme, which is a fun theme. Which does have a little Batman flavor. Central City does have that Gotham City type of look. It's gloom and doom and dark, but at times the show can be fairly campy as well, to be fair. Mark Hamill's the Trickster, which is a predecessor to him playing Joker on Batman the Animated Series. It was fun to watch this. I mean, I forgot, was so refreshing to see after that new Flash movie. And it's crazy, that new Flash film cost, what, $200 million, $250 million? The pilot, they put some money into it, $6 million. It's a feature-length, 90-minute pilot. And this $6 million endeavor of that pilot was a hell lot better than what the hell I saw. John Wesley Shipp is a much better actor. He's much more fitting as the character. He's much more relatable, much more likable. He could do a little bit of humor. He could do drama. I always liked John Wesley Shipp. Sadly, he didn't really do a whole lot, except I know he came back for the new Flash show. I'm trying to think, did he play like the father? It's been a while. I haven't watched much of that show, to be fair. And like the aspects, like the suit, I think it's the best suit the Flash has ever had. It's a fantastic looking suit. I think the effects look pretty good for a TV show. I think they were ambitious in making Central City look unique into its own. It didn't just look like, oh, we just shot this in Chicago. And the cast, you got Amanda Pays, who I love in Leviathan. She plays a scientist who helps him out. Of course, you get the idea that maybe there'll be a love thing later on. Alex Desert, who plays John Wesley Shipp's buddy, who works at the crime lab. He's very likable as Julio, very funny, very easy to... has a good charm. They have a good banter with each other. Tim Thomerson, Sally's only in this one because he plays John Wesley Shipp's brother. They're both cops, but John Wesley Shipp does more the forensics, crime lab stuff, while Tim Thomerson's more out in the streets. I forgot that M. Walsh was their dad. M. Walsh, who was in Missing in Action, Red Scorpion. He was the sheriff in the first Critters movie. And pretty much, I mean, the premise of the pilot is there's a motorcycle gang blowing up cars. There are people that are getting killed. And John Wesley's ship is, trying to look into it. During his bit at the crime lab, there's an electrical storm. It gets hit. He flies back. Pretty good stunt work. Actual little spark explosion. Guy flying back. This is 1990s, so they didn't, thankfully, have the ability to just shoehorn a bunch of crappy looking CG. And it's pretty much him getting to know what's going on, understanding his powers, while this motorcycle gang, led by this guy named Pike, who is a former cop, who's got all these scars on his face, him and his crew decide to, cause chaos in the city. Hell, there's this one bit where this one guy in the gang wants to leave. They find out, so they tie him to the motorcycle. They let him ride off on a motorcycle tied up, and they put a bomb in it. So when he goes far enough, the whole thing explodes. As much as you get away with on TV. But again, it's like there is, seriousness. I mean, no, yes, if you go through even bits of the pilot and throughout the show, there are levels of camp in it. I'll give you that. But in the pilot, I hate to say this, the camp quality kind of came out from the music. Now, I love the main theme of the music. And some of the music is good, but some of the music goes so over the top, or some of the music goes a bit, I don't want to say goofy, but like sometimes the music just took a good or decent scene, and then the music like making it a bit more hyper elevated than it should be. So I think sometimes the music could have been toned down a bit. It works well during the action sequences in the finale. Sometimes I wanted the music to calm down a bit, I'll say that. So, music's kind of 50-50. Some of it's pretty good, some of it's like, can you calm down a bit? Just calm your tits. Like, so throughout it's like he's doing tests at the Star Labs with Amanda Pays. All this stuff's happening, like he's running with his dog and he's running super fast. He ran 30 miles in seconds. There's a test track. I like the little detail that like he picks up Amanda Pays and her clothes start ripping off, and this is why he needs a suit so that his clothes wouldn't rip off. I thought, like I said, I like the way this looks with the Speed Force, with him running. Because in the new movie, it's him doing this in these weird poses. And I'm sitting there going, no one fucking runs like that. And, well, that's you to the Flash. Well, it looks goofy, it looks stupid, it looks ridiculous. And CGI isn't even that great either. Here, he's running like anyone would, but you see this blur and this flash like it should, and just much more visually appealing to me. And when he's fighting the bad guys, like he's going back and forth, punching this guy, dodging it, punching this guy, ba 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 ba, or the main bad guy, he gets a little tornado that makes the guy float up into this electrical thing to fry him for a bit. This is very, very appealing to a kid like me who was 7 years old at the time when this came out in 1990. And again, like, as a kid, you see Batman on VHS, and then the Ninja Turtles movie came out the same year, 1990. So I felt like I was just getting a whole lot of good stuff to enjoy. And this is going to be on TV each week. All right. And then John Wesley's ship is likable. It at least tries to have a bit of seriousness to the proceedings. Spoiler: during it, Tim Thomerson's character gets killed by Pike. John Wesley's ship. His acting was fine. The music tries to be very big. Where it's like, no. It goes that thin line of you don't want to go too far and be like the Darth Vader, no, Revenge of the Sith. It doesn't go that far, but that's the thing is sometimes the show would be on that cliff of, okay, is it too over the top or too campy and stuff, so it had to be a bit more careful with that aspect. But his brother dies, he wants revenge. I do like the conversation he has with his dad, where his dad's like, listen, you can't do anything, just let the others handle it. Listen, kid, you never fire a gun without a bullet. And then John Wesley Shipp looks and goes, I have the bullet. Meaning his flash powers. Now, because of the TV, the action scenes are not going to be that exquisite. Like when he stops some bikers, it's good for TV. This is a bit where he stops the front of a motorcycle. It's a nice stunt where it flips. But when he punches, you tell John Wesley Shipp probably hasn't had a lot of experience with fighting. So he's like these kind of broad punches. They worked for the show. I'm just saying, you could tell that he didn't have a lot of experience with that. I don't know if he had if he did any training with that. He obviously trained his body because he was in good shape. I just meant but it works for the show. And of course, the idea of Achilles' heel, in this point, he doesn't understand his powers 100%. So there are times he gets these fainting spells where he's weak. Because, I mean, if you don't give that, then how the hell could any of these guys defeat the Flash? So you have to give some kind of Achilles heel for it. So I think just because it treated the character with respect, it treated the story with a somewhat of dire circumstances, a game that was ready to hurt and has even killed people, made a world unique that, well, I say unique, like similar to Gotham City. Like, you could buy I don't know if that was their intention, but if you told me this was in the same universe as Tim Burton's Batman, I would buy it. I would believe it. And the well done suit, the capable cast, the movie, it was paced fairly well. It was never bored. The idea that it has that Tim Burton Batman. If you don't like Tim Burton's Batman, you probably wouldn't like this. Just trying to have that same feel. But I do quite like Tim Burton's Batman, so quite like this. It was a good direction to go towards. And to have a likable hero, so I do some of the, like I said, the banter I said I like between Julio and John Wesley Shipp is when, for example, John Wesley Shipp is showing Amanda Page the lab, and he had a girlfriend, but she left him. And so he's showing Amanda Page, and Julio's like, man, I thought I was a fast mover. You had the wrong idea. And John Wesley Shipp is able to make some of these lines work. Because in Lesser Hands, at the end he tells the kid who is his brother's kid, saying, hey, I miss your dad, and just, I miss my dad. Oh, I miss him too. Listen, anytime you need me, I'll be there in a flash. And the Wrong Hands, that could sound really cringy or really on the nose, but I thought John Wesley Shipp made you believe in that. He made you believe in that. And it's still my favorite Flash. That's why I don't like what they did with him in the new Flash show, Crisis on Infinite Earths, where his planet was destroyed, like his universe, I should say, was destroyed, and it was just him. And then he saves the day, but he goes so fast that he stops this doomsday machine to save other universes, but his universe is still gone. He says kind of goodbye to Tina, Amanda Pay's character, and then he fades out to his death. Oh, it's such a great ending. What? It's a great ending to have the whole world destroyed and him die and Tina. So you make it seem as if this show was fucking pointless. Anything he does in this show is pointless because everybody dies at the end. That's shit. I don't, to me, that's not in continuity with this. I don't care what they say. To me, that's a different John was a shit Flash than this one. No matter what they want to say. So yeah, maybe if some people watch this today, maybe they would come down on some of the effects because it's a 1990 TV show. And of course, throughout the other episodes, they didn't have $6 million for each. I think it was like each episode was like 1 million or so a piece, and that's why Sally got canceled. This only lasted 22 episodes because the ratings were decent, but first they tried to go up against the Cosby Show, which was not the right decision. Then at one point they were up against The Simpsons, and that didn't help. So they kept changing the schedule. So some people was like, well, is the show canceled? Where is the show? Then it still held like decent ratings, but just cost too much. I'm sure if this was like a top 10 bonanza of a success, they would have kept going. But it wasn't. It was still costing a lot. So it ended. If I understand, the second season was going to have like the villains get together and go after the Flash. But, you know, sadly that didn't happen. I would love to have seen a second season of the show and see how it went. But sadly, again, that wasn't the case. It was funny, you could still get this show. Like, I went to a Walmart recently, and they had the, I mean, different case. It was much more of a, it was a different case, but they had this for sale at Walmart. Like I say, it was a different case. Like, it didn't have this case with this type of stuff in it, with the pictures and stuff. Much more of a, I don't know what you call it, just typical case. But yeah, it's still there for people that want to check it out. I think if you want a palate cleanser from the new Flash, this Flash is not trying to save a bunch of shitty looking CGI babies and putting them in the microwave. He's not going back in time to find his mom, to help his mom, but then doesn't stop to think, maybe I should stop the killer of my mom. Maybe I should, instead I'm going to fuck with tomato sauce. I don't know, how about you see who killed your mom and follow the guy who killed your mom and stop him? It doesn't just bring in Michael Keaton to have nostalgia masturbation and then kill him off 18 times. It doesn't feel like it goes on forever. Wow, a Flash that looks cool, bit of a badass, smart, capable, not annoying, heroic, kicking ass, taking names, with a good theme, music by Danny Elfman, awesome costume, capable cast. Like I said, Amanda Pay's Alex Desert. Go figure. Go figure. So anyway. Yeah, this is like I say, if you've seen The Flash and you need a palate cleanser, this is The Flash. Not that fucking movie. This is The Flash. Yeah, I love just the look, the aesthetic, the old school vibe and style. Not trying to thankfully couldn't have CGI shoved in your face every 5 seconds. So, like I said, sometimes it does the in the camp value. Sometimes the music overdoes it. Sometimes an effect here and here is not the best as it was TV work. But overall, very pretty damn satisfying. And like I said, it was nice to rewatch this again because, like I said, it's sad that this show. I wish it was more successful. We'll love to have done at least like 3-4 seasons of this show. That would have been great to see, but it's the way of the world. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.